Welcome to the Gain Momentum podcast, focusing on timeless lessons from senior leaders in hospitality, travel, food service, and technology. I'm joined by Analia Capurro. She's the GM, the general manager of the Andaz Mexico City Condesa. Analia, how are you?
Very good, thank you for having me.
No worries. We're here to talk about all the incredible things you're doing, and there's a lot that's converging because we have a very, very aspirational brand, Andaz. We have an aspirational company, Hyatt, and we have an aspirational city, Mexico City. So I'm wondering if we could start with the city itself, the destination, Mexico City. What makes it so incredible? What do you love about it?
So for me, Mexico City is magic. I have had the opportunity to live in multiple cities in Latin America, in the US, and in Europe. And Mexico City has this unique warmth, this unique livelihood that makes it so special and made me want to stay. When I came for just 2 weeks for work, I fell in love. I fell in love with the city, with the neighborhoods, the character, the culture, the food scene. I mean, it was a very vibrant city. So for me, it is a city that you fall in love with, and the Mexican culture embraces you and welcomes you to be a part of it. So uh, honestly, I love living here. I don't want to move. Uh, I think that the quality of life that you can have here, it's the best of both worlds because you are still in a Latin country, so you still get that warmth of the people, but you are like an hour away from Miami and a couple of hours from many destinations. So it is perfectly located. It's an easy trip for a weekend getaway. So it's great.
So I'm wondering if you could color that answer to talk a little bit about Mexico City, how it's this convergence of north and south, and it's from a tourism perspective as a culinary capital, a cultural capital, it really is growing. And it used to be a business center, but now it's business plus leisure. What are you seeing in Mexico City for its growth as a destination?
Honestly, I've lived here for 11 years. I've seen the transformation of Mexico City. I used to work in a hotel where we would be 100% occupied from Monday to Thursday and Friday. And if you would step into the lobby of that hotel, which usually is like a train station because it was full of people, on a Saturday afternoon, there would be no one. And we would be running on a 20% occupancy on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Uh, and to see it now, where, for example, the hotel where I am at now, we are full every Friday and Saturday with tourism and with people wanted to discover. Uh, it shows you the shift or the complementary interest that we are getting. So we are not only a business city, but now we have a lot of interest drawn by, I think that we have a lot of key components in the culinary scene, uh, a lot of up and coming restaurants, a lot of restaurant stars, a lot of listings where Mexico City shows up. We have the number one bar in the world, Handshake, that just came out a couple of weeks ago, and a number of new uh, ventures that are showing up and that are uh, basically in the radar now that made Mexico City pop up in the radar for that specific reason, mainly culinary. And then it came all the cultural aspect of the city. You have the Anthropology Museum. It's an amazing museum, for example. And the Frida Kahlo Museum, another great example of the richness that we have in Mexico City that was basically overlooked over the years because in everybody's mind, you came to Mexico City to work and you went to like Cancun or Los Cabos for relaxing and for tourism. And now that shifted, and that shift was accompanied by a lot of changes in the city. Um, we have this area where the Andaz is, which is a Condesa, and it is where all the new uh, proposals for restaurants are showing up. You have very niche restaurants that have very small spaces with new chefs, with new ideas that are attracting so many locals as well as tourists. So maybe you have an omakase of 10 people, that's it, but it's full all the time. And things like that happen or replicate themselves all over. You have a vermouth bar, not a wine bar, which we have a lot of, but now we have vermouth bars, for example. And examples like that are so specific to the concept of it, basically.
It's so incredible to talk about a city that's really transformed in the past 20 years, and it's continuing to grow and grow. And it's barely even started in terms of what it's possible of, and it's right happening, centered around your hotel in La Condesa.
Yeah. Yes, a lot is happening here because it's the young, uh, the up and coming. We at Hyatt here in Mexico, we say we are where the cool kids are. We are there. So, yes, a lot happens here in Roma and Condesa, where we have that opportunity of a blend, because a lot of what my guests are looking for is to be in touch with the local culture. Uh, and, the Reforma and Polanco areas are much more of a businessy kind of area. So you have all that. It's very proper and very touristy, 100%, or businessy. And here in Roma and Condesa, you have a perfect blend. My restaurants are 80% are locals. The rest is guests or tourists, but mostly we have locals here staying, coming into our restaurants. And you find that neighborhood feel here in Roma and Condesa, not so much in other areas where we have a lot of hotels, but are geared towards other type of visitors, actually.
It's very interesting to talk about hotels as community centers and places to steward the local community. Before we get into that, I want to backtrack because you mentioned something right at the beginning, which is that you've lived on multiple continents. And that's something that is so unique to hospitality, about the ability to work and experience these different cultures by working at hotels around the world within a parent brand like Hyatt. So, could you describe, just for context, your background, where you've worked at, and your history in hospitality?
Sure. I finished hotel school in Switzerland, and I really wanted to work in Europe. And I did one of those things that you do when you have 24 years old, I was, I think, and you really don't think much further than, next week. So I moved to Italy without speaking Italian, hoping that someone would hire me. And I had the luck or to drop my CV, because at the time it was 2003. So at the time you had to actually print out your CV and take it to the hotels. So I dropped my CV at the pre-opening office of the Par Hyatt in Milan, and had the amazing good fortune of being interviewed by the GM. The hotel was closed at the time, who interviewed me. And he's like, all is good with you. I like your profile, but you need to speak Italian. So he hired me as a phone operator. He's like, you're not going to have a choice. You're going to have to speak Italian, because no sign language with the phone, no nothing. I need you to speak Italian. And that's where I started my journey with Hyatt. After I was able to decently communicate, I started growing, and I went to housekeeping for a while. And I found out that a Par Hyatt was opening in my hometown in Buenos Aires, Argentina. And I wanted to go back home. I started missing my family. And I thought that it was a great opportunity to open another Par Hyatt. It was going to be a flagship property. It is now the Palacio Duo, Par Hyatt Buenos Aires. It is an amazing hotel, an amazing property. And Hyatt gave me the opportunity to transfer to that opening. So we opened that hotel, um, which is amazing for those ones that are visiting Buenos Aires. You cannot miss that property. Um, After a while, uh, Hyatt purchased a hotel here in Mexico. And I was coming here for 2 weeks, just for 2 weeks, to swap it from one brand to the next. And it was an amazing opportunity and an amazing project because there was a lot of pre-work to be done. And we had to, one day to transform 755 rooms from the previous brand to a Hyatt Regency, which is now the property that sits in Polanco. And I loved Mexico City. In those 2 weeks, I fell in love with the city. Team there was so warm. I, I fell in love with the team. I fell in love with everything. So I came back to Buenos Aires after my 2 week uh, stint in Mexico. And I'm like, if there is a possibility, I would like to go back to Mexico for good and transfer. And some months later, the opportunity came, and that's how I ended up here in Mexico. And I keep on loving it. I transferred from that hotel to the one that I am now. So from director of operations over there to here that I am the general manager, and the growth that I see in Mexico for Hyatt has been amazing. We are opening so many hotels here in Mexico. Just this year, we're opening Par Hyatt in Los Cabos. Uh, Par Hyatt Mexico City is coming at the beginning of next year. So there are so many things going on in Mexico that also on a professional standpoint, this is the place to be because this is where my company is growing. A bit of luck, I guess, being at the right place at the right time also. But yeah, honestly, this world allows you to discover so many cultures, so many grow professionally in so many ways that other careers maybe do not give you the chance.
It's one of the amazing things of hospitality, and it's something that, dare I say, I don't think hospitality as an industry does a good enough job of advertising to the rest of the world in terms of career prospects and how beautiful it is to get to a chance to live in multiple cities and also be guest facing and experiencing so many different cultures with the people that are coming in and out of our hotels. So I'm wondering if we could shift. We've talked and got everyone up to speed with where you are now. And now let's look at the Andaz brand because we have Hyatt. And then within that, they've created this brand called Andaz that's a leader in luxury lifestyle. So I'm wondering if you could talk about your experience with Andaz, what you see as its differentiator, as well as the actual growth of luxury lifestyle as a category, and really the type of guests that are coming to your hotel.
Sure. So I guess I'm going to start big by talking about where my company is going. A couple of months ago, Hyatt made a shift and is now what we call a brand-led, uh, has a brand-led approach. So we fall into the lifestyle category within the brands in Hyatt. So it's not only us. We have the Standard, we have Thompson brand, we have a number of lifestyle brands. And we are within the umbrella of the lifestyle group. For us, at the lifestyle side of it and at the Andas side of it, we love it because there's a very specific focus on developing the brand and the identity of the brand uh, for the outside world. Otherwise, it could be very confusing. So many brands, and what's the difference between them? So it gives us a lot of clarity. Uh, I had purchased Standard International, which had a number of lifestyle brands already, namely the Standard, the Hotel the Standard, which we just opened the hotel in Brussels, for example, with that brand, and the Standard hotel is coming to Mexico City, opening later this year or beginning of next year. I don't remember. But the lifestyle subsegment within the hotel industry is growing, and we are trying to accompany that. And what it means for us at Andas is we are within the lifestyle. We allow you to be yourself, and that's a big part of the soul of Andaz. What we see here within the team is maybe not something that you see in every hotel. Maybe you have a staff member that has pink hair or things like that, and that's okay, because if that person feels comfortable with that, we're good with it, and we don't want you to fit in a frame. We want you to be yourself, be comfortable, because we believe that you're going to be better serving our clients and customers by being yourself here with us than trying to fit a mold that doesn't necessarily fit you. And that's the big thing about the brand and us. We're a bit unscripted. We're a bit, you could say, a GM from another hotel can say, Andas is a bit messy, but we like being messy. It's part of who we are, and it's part of our brand identity.
Cool. So now let's focus even further and talk about Andaz Mexico City Condesa, which when you walk into it, you walk in and the phrase that we've used together is an oasis in the city, where you walk in and the programming on the first floor is open. There's artwork, there's indoor outdoor spaces that's flexible. You go up to the second floor, there's the cafe, the spa. It's all so friendly, but it's so flexible and adaptable. And it really feels like this little sanctuary amidst Mexico City, which has a lot of traffic and 25 million people, right? So,
Yeah.
can you describe what you're able to do with these flexible spaces and how you're able to create such a dynamic space that can also evolve over time?
Sure. So I guess the first thing I have to say is this is a historical building. It was a building in the 60s. It is protected by the INBA, which is the government branch that legislates historical properties. So basically, what you see from the outside is what was there in the 60s, and we do not touch that. That's our frame. And it is a complex as well, meaning that we have two hotels within this complex, the Mondrian and the Atlas. Um, what you see a bit when you come in is an oasis, mainly because we have a huge patio full of greenery. And that's not that common here in Mexico City. Mexico City is a busy street, it's a busy city with a lot of traffic, a lot of movement, a lot of noise. And suddenly you enter into this oasis that you call, which is in the center of the complex. So basically, it's very protected from the outside world, this greenery that we have. We have a cafe there, we have a restaurant, we have a bar. So a lot of things start going on just from the beginning of the complex, right in the ground floor, and then you go up to our first floor, and you see our coffee shop. And our coffee shop is it's called Derba, and it has been a crown jewel. It's secret crown jewel because for us in a hotel we have part of the Andas brand is to integrate within the local community. Now, when you have a brand that has to integrate, but locally people do not like to get into the hotels to eat or to have a coffee because they here there's not that culture. If it's a hotel, it's for tourists, so I don't go there. You have the first barrier. And the second barrier is that our coffee shop is on the first floor. So we had to build a relationship with our community. We had to start bringing out product that you had to come and see. You had to come and experience and taste. Our team at the pastry shop here in Derba was awarded the best pastry team in Mexico last year. My pastry chef, he was he went to Taipei to compete. He was worldwide. Well, he was the fifth best pastry chef. He's going to Germany next week to compete once again in the chocolate section of the competition. He was invited to compete in France for best baker in the world. So he brought all that to our products. And our products are speaking for itself to the outside community. And that's how we started bringing people into the hotel, just because they needed to try our product. They wanted to try our product. And that's how we started. And it has been a great integration of the cafe. And then we have our main restaurant, which is on the 17th floor. Same barrier. Going into a hotel, and Kabuja, our main restaurant, is a seafood Tulum-inspired concept. It's like an oasis. It has a pool. It has all the views of the city, and unobstructed, because we are the only tall building within the vicinity. So you see all of Mexico City in that amazing view. And how do we bring locals? I think that with Kabucha, what we try to do is meet our potential clients where they are. And the first thing that comes to mind, apart from having a cool concept, a great space, apart from all the, let's say, the hard stuff, the soft stuff. And one thing that comes to mind when we thought about this concept is the price point. Yes, I can price you as if you were a New Yorker, but I'm not going to bring in the local community if I do that. And what I want is an amazing place full of locals that come and enjoy the views and the cocktails and the amazing food that our chef produces there. So the price point is super normal for the area. We are within our, let's say, area price point for a lunch or a dinner. No problem. Cocktails as well. That's the first thing. It's like, don't be afraid. I mean, you're not going to leave, a month's salary buying a dinner here. And I think that the other one is a lot of activations that invited the local community to come, and that brought the concept of Kabuja to their options to go out with friends. So now, about 80% of my guests in Kabuja are not guests of the hotel, are outside clients from the neighborhood. And I think that that's a huge win for us. And that resonates with the brand and goes in line with what the brand intends to do, basically.
It's very interesting just to pull back about Durba, and it's so easy for a hotel to just say, we need a cafe. Okay, so just put in a Starbucks imitator, right? Or something that can just service guests. But going that many steps further and saying, how can we be the best in the city? And then from there, it creates this virtuous circle because it's drawing in locals. Locals are going to tell their friends. Friends have relatives from out of town. And as well, now you have this stamp to say, we are the best. And that becomes a draw to attract guests in a top of funnel or upper funnel situation as well for marketing. So it creates this virtuous circle just from really putting in the extra effort to be exceptional. And that's part of why we're here is we're talking about leaders that are going the extra step to be exceptional, and how that creates this virtuous circle back onto the hotel, onto the brand, everything. So it's so incredible to hear that firsthand.
No, and it's also true that because of the area where we are, and that so much innovation happens in this area, um, it's thereby is never moving. It's never staying still. We are every month we have new products coming out, because we are trying to basically understand where the trends are and have our own version of that for our guests and clients. So it's very dynamic. Derba specifically, it's a very dynamic outlet, and it's a very dynamic team that makes that possible. Because at the end of the day, if you have to bring out at least 3 new pastries every single month, you need to have the technical knowledge and the team that will make that happen. Honestly, it's kudos to my pastry team, because they have been at it and bringing out amazing products every month for our guests.
So to shift gears slightly, We're talking about community, and one thing that's remarkable about La Condesa, correct me if I'm wrong, but it is of all urban neighborhoods in the world, the most dogs per capita of
Yeah,
any urban neighborhood. And
it is full of
yeah,
dogs. I think we have more dogs than humans. We have a uh, and that is what inspired Rooftop, which is our casual dining outlet. We have a food truck, we have music, and on the weekends we have a patio full of dogs. We've had up to 60 dogs there. So yeah, so it's a gathering point for dog lovers during the weekend, especially, and it's a great place to chill. You get your hamburger and your fries. You spend some time with your dog and your friends. Have a beer. Very relaxing, very chill, and that is again, when we talk about community, that is 100% locals coming. We don't have, I mean, except the couple of guests that may be coming with their dogs on their vacation, but it is mostly locals that come to Rooft. So that was a concept that was developed by Hyatt specifically for this hotel, just because of the amount of dogs we have here in Condesa.
and it's interesting that you would draw in the locals that way because drawing in the locals, word of mouth, it all comes back to um, this virtuous circle of how you can have continuous improvements. Um, to draw on another thread, we have locals, we have F&B we've talked about. How does that intersect with meetings and events in terms of creating a dynamic venue space for groups coming in and trying to increase the experience, but that also translates into a higher contract value for those groups? Can you talk to us about that?
Sure. I think that what we've seen, this hotel has been open for a little over 2 years. And what we've seen with the spaces that we have for banquets is that we need to really lean on our differences to be able to sell better. We have an area that is not a business area. There are no offices close to us. So the corporate side is not so strong as in many other hotels in Mexico City. So if we started leaning on, when we started leaning on our differences, things started to appear because companies that were looking for something different came to our door. Weddings. Mexico City is not necessarily a, or was not necessarily a wedding destination. And suddenly we are booking weddings we have about 20 weddings already here in the hotel because of the uniqueness of our space. We have a combination between indoor meeting space and outdoor meeting space, which our guests love. Our ballroom, instead of being a traditional ballroom, is a glass box. So you have the outside natural light all the time, and guests love it. Um, so there are so many unique characteristics to our meeting spaces and so much flexibility because you can have a barbecue with your team uh, as a breakout and then continue with the meeting. We've had a number of Asian weddings, which, as you might know, last normally 3 days. And what they are looking for is I don't want to get my guests into the same ballroom every single day for the different traditional parts of an Indian wedding, for example. But we have so many different spaces that for an Asian wedding, you can change venues completely and do something on a rooftop, and then you are doing something on a ballroom, and then you are doing something on a patio. Completely different spaces, completely different moods, all within our hotel. So that has been a great key for the success that we are having in the meetings and banquet area, let's say.
Yeah, I've attended so many conferences of late, and even in 2025, a lot of event planners don't understand this. Is when you bring somebody into that same boardroom or that same ballroom for 3 or 4 days, by the third day, they're on their phones looking for restaurants they can go elsewhere and just to walk around, just to have a change of scenery. And that is all lost value for a hotel where if they can space things out rather than needing an offsite dinner, they can move things around and you can keep more of their time on site while still keeping them engaged.
Yes, and honestly, that has been a great uh, added value for our uh, corporate attendees and our social attendees as well. So we had the luck that we can service both business models or both type of clients without problem.
Well, it's hard to do, right? Because it's very easy to just say, "Oh, you have this ballroom for the next 2 days and that's it," right? But, spacing that out does require a lot of effort, but again, it creates this more dynamic event, and then they say, "Listen, instead of just 1 or 2 nights, let's do 3 nights, for our room block." And
And not only that, I think that as a dining experience, because we continue thinking of eating here as a dining experience. If there is one thing that I always tell my banquet chef is, I don't want our events attendees to feel that they are eating in a banquet. I want them to feel that they are in a restaurant. How can we make that happen? And he's actually a restaurant chef that is now doing our banquets. So he has that restaurant mentality. But for our clients, one of the options that we have as a banquet space is to eat in a restaurant. And you have all of the restaurant, I mean, we have a proper restaurant with a restaurant feel, restaurant furniture, restaurant everything. And you can have your meal with your group there. It's not banquet tables with banquet, you know, chairs and all that. No, it's a completely different feel. And it has an inside part and it has an outdoor part. So sometimes your team needs to relax, see some sunshine, breathe some air, and to have the opportunity to set them up in an outdoor space, um, you know, and have lunch under an umbrella. Uh, it's great as a break, and then you continue work. But that 1 hour of lunch outdoors, al fresco, very very nice, very honestly, it has been very successful for us because it really gives them a break. It's not that they are swapping from one meeting room to the next for their meal. No, they are going out and having lunch outdoors, for example.
yeah, you talk about that, what's called in science the postprandial dip, which is to say the after lunch energies everyone gets. And traditionally, scientifically proven, the worst time to go before a judge is 3 p.m.
Oh,
Yeah, because you're getting them when they're in their lowest mood. And you think you have a full day of meetings and you're moving them from meeting room to meeting room to meeting room. And then 3 p.m. rolls around and you're trying to make a presentation and everyone is asleep in their chairs versus giving them the opportunity to sit outdoors and recharge a little bit in natural light. It's so important. So, speaking about so importance and energy levels, we also have this idea of wellness and well-being. So you have Pasana Spa, and you've done some interesting things there as well to really make and as a trend center in wellness beyond just traditional spa. Can you talk about your programming on the wellness front?
sure. We have here in Condesa in general. It's not only the culinary scene that is very big here. The age group is relatively young, so wellness is part of the conversation. We take care of ourselves because I'm considering myself within the young category. We are caring for our bodies, we are caring for the food that we eat, and we are caring for the exercise or the treatments or whatever whatever that we can do to care for ourselves. And that pasana, of course, we have all the traditional treatments, but we also have activations. We've had a number of activations over these past years. We had cold plunging as part of the program here at Pasana. We have yoga. We've had Pilates, and a whole number of different things trying to keep up with what's going on within the community in Condesa, because those activations are mainly geared for the local community, not necessarily our guests. And that is part of what makes them close to us, basically. No, they come for a class. They come for last time, a week ago, we did a yoga class. In the rooftop. So we took out everything, and the yoga class was there with the sunset. It was lovely, and people loved it. So we had another activation that was uh, challenging, I'm gonna say, but it was great. Was 200 bicycles in our ballroom, and we had a massive cyclo class in the ballroom, for example. So, my team, they go explore, do. I normally say yes to everything, so they are used to going crazy, and I try to support. But yes, that was great. It was a crazy class. We had also 150 people for a ballet class here in the hotel. Uh, yeah. So, no, trying to keep up with the trends and trying to bring in the locals to see the hotel and join in within the Andaz community.
Wow. And of course, yeah, Andaz is a little bit flexible, a little bit messy, you said. So it allows for this, and you have to support these ideas and the new trends, particularly in a younger community where La Condesa is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, uh, that's a spirit of the brand, but that's also the spirit of Condesa. So we are here to make that happen, basically.
Wow. So I'm wondering, we've talked a lot about what you have at the hotel. Let's look ahead to the future. What are some big trends that you see on the forefront in hospitality for the lifestyle segment and for Andaz, if you're allowed to talk about them publicly?
So, what I see in terms of food and beverage is that uh, what is working is very specific concepts that are not massively publicized and that are more of a curated experiences for the guests and for the local community as well. Uh, we do not see, a 300-person restaurant opening up anytime soon and that being a success. We are talking about more exclusive and more specific concepts. And that's what has been working here in Mexico City. But I think that that's going to translate to many other locations. Um, I think that for us in lifestyle, we have a lot of movement for the lifestyle group and with a lot of openings. And each brand focuses on more specific things. For us, uh, there's a huge focus on cocktails and what we are doing with our beverage program and to really and bring Andas to life through our uh, uh, cocktail menu, for example. So we have a Tulum style restaurant. So all our cocktails are fresh, fruity, and bringing out that to life for clients. And each property has to adapt their offering to respect their own identity.
Wow, that's really cool. So to finish things off, I know I've asked you this question before, but what's your favorite cocktail then?
Yes. My favorite cocktail here in the hotel is called Bad Decisions. Uh, and it's, I love gin. So, so that's why I tried it. And I loved it. And my team told me this history behind the name Bad Decisions. And it's because gin is a strong alcohol. And Bad Decisions has a lot of pineapple and fruits. So you don't really feel the alcohol. So you can drink 3 of them without even noticing how much alcohol you are actually drinking. And that's how my team discovered that it was a bad decision to drink many of that cocktail. And that's how the name came about for the opening of this hotel, actually.
Analia, is there anything else important that you want to touch off before we close out?
No, thank you for the opportunity of the interview. To everybody out there that is listening, come to Mexico City. Mexico City is magic. It's an amazing city. You're going to love it. I love walking Mexico City. It's a walkable city. I love walking with my dog through the parks of Mexico City. You will be so surprised. You will eat so many amazing things. There's not only I love tacos, but there's not only tacos in Mexico City. There are so many food offerings here to to welcome you, and there are so many things to do that you will not regret giving a chance to this amazing, amazing destination.
Yeah, you have to visit and lots of timeless lessons. Thanks, Analia.
You're very welcome, Ava. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to the Gain Momentum podcast. To stay up to date, make sure to follow or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. For more information about Gain Advisors, head to gainadvisors.com.